Welcome to the West Point Lake Update. I'm your host, Park Ranger Rebecca Fink with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. We have a great show lined up for you today. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome back. With me today is Sergeant Brent Raley with the Georgia Department of Natural Resources with the Law Enforcement Division. Welcome.
Thanks. Good to be here.
I wanted to bring you onto the show today to talk more about our personal watercraft that we have that's very popular on West Point Lake. We see them in our day use parks and a lot of times in our campground as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the personal protective equipment that you need to have on your person when driving?
Sure. Personal watercraft, they're very popular. They're fun to ride on. A lot of people have them, but they can be very unsafe, and there's a lot of things that you have to do in order to be safe out there on the water, protect yourself and other people. The primary thing that we look for is whether or not the person has on a life jacket, a PFD, personal flotation device. You can wear a type 1, 2, 3, or 5 personal flotation device. It has to be of appropriate size, and it has to be fastened. In other words, you can't just throw it on and take off down the lake. You've got to have it fastened on you so that if you fall off the personal watercraft, the life jacket doesn't come off of you, come off your person. The other thing that we look at is a lanyard or a kill switch. It has to be attached to you, your clothes, your personal watercraft, and attached to the place where it's supposed to be attached on the personal watercraft. If you fall off, it will cut the personal watercraft off so it doesn't just keep going down the lake.
Yeah, so it's very popular when you're out here on a jet ski, and it's very common that you're going to fall off of it. It's been designed to do that. That's part of the fun of being on a jet ski is to hit those waves and maybe fall off of it on occasion. But that includes everyone that's on the jet ski or being pulled by the jet ski needs to have on that PFD. Right.
Everybody has to have one. If you're on a tube or something and you're being towed, you have to have one on also.
Okay. And who can actually operate a jet ski?
If you're under age 12, you can't operate one.
Not under 12.
Not under age 12. From 12 to 15, you can operate one, as long as if you've taken the course that we offer, or if you have a competent adult that's on board with you. And competent means they're 18 or older and they're not under the influence of alcohol and they have a proper ID with them. Okay, so if I come out with my family, or I own the jet ski, but maybe my friends and neighbors are with me and they would like to get on it and drive it around, they can, but they have to have that boating education class, that card with them if they're under a certain age. Under a certain age, right, 12 to 15. Which I believe is, if you're born on or after January 1st of 1998, you are required to have it. Course. Right, that's a new law we had a few years ago. Okay, and I'll be able to touch briefly to our viewers about the classes that we offer here at West Point Lake that are in-class opportunities for you to be able to get that card for you. But also mirrors, the spotter. What's the proper way to actually have a jet ski and involve more than one person in the activity? You can have mirrors on your jet ski or personal watercraft, but they don't count if you're going to tow somebody. You have to have a physical spotter on your personal watercraft. That's their job, is to spot the person. Mirrors are good, but legally they don't count. And you have to have at least a 3-person personal watercraft. And you have to have, like I say, one person on board that's a designated spotter watching the people back behind you. And that's an important thing to remember, is that the state line of Alabama and Georgia does run through West Point Lake, although the main body of our lake is going to be in Georgia. So we need to follow that Georgia law that says mirrors aren't the minimum requirement. You also have to have that spotter with you. I appreciate that. And as far as towing a line goes, that can be anything from pulling someone on a ski or on a tube? Tube, ski, all these kind of weird things they have now, anything like that, you have to have a spotter. Okay. And although it's not written that way in a law, having a driver
and a spotter that's sitting appropriately, sitting on the jet ski facing backwards, looking at the people being towed. If you have a hot dog or a ski with 3 to 4 people on it, that's technically legal. However, you have to consider safety, though.
Right. We see it a lot. Somebody will have a 3-person jet ski that have 3 people on it, and then they'll have a person on the tube or towing behind them. And the law was supposed to cover that, but there's kind of a glitch in there. But you really should not have an extra person back there. If that person falls off or somebody gets hurt, you don't really have a way to get them back to safety.
Right. So you can't rely on just having that tube as your transportation back to shore. You should be able to fit everyone in your activity on that jet ski to get back to shore if there's an emergency.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being on the show today. Here in a moment, we'll talk about our boating water safety classes. Welcome back. Our second guest today is Park Ranger Susan Cromer. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
We are dealing with this unusual May weather. It's a little bit cool, windy, and rainy this morning, but that's not going to stop us from talking more about water safety on the lake.
That's right.
So you're going to talk to us a little bit about life jackets.
That's right. I bought some life jackets today to show as an examples of what you should do and what you shouldn't do. This one, in fact, is my personal life jacket. There's a couple of things I want to point out about it. If you'll look on the inside of your life jackets, there's always a stamp or some kind of information that tells you what the life jacket is supposed to be used for. For example, this one is a Type 3 life jacket. So you always want to check the inside of the life jacket and read what the life jacket is made for. So, for example, this is a Type 3 life jacket, but over here on the side I also have one of these, which is our Type 2 life jackets. And again, there's information here that tells you what the life jacket's good for. So this one would be good for riding around on the boat, just a normal day, cruising around on the lake. But if you're going to go out and spend some time maybe on a jet ski, on a tube, then you need one of these vest type life jackets.
So the biggest difference between the Type 2 and Type 3 life jacket is how it's going to protect you, and maybe what it's rated for is how fast you're going on the water as well.
That's right.
I believe a Type 3 life jacket that you have is rated for up to 40 miles an hour, which is a good fast speeding boat.
That's right. So you always want to check the inside of your life jacket, make sure that the activity that you're participating in and the life jacket that you have match up. So there's a couple other things I wanted to share about life jackets. We're just going to slip this one on you. So we always want to make sure that you button up, snap the life jacket, zip it up. You also want to check it for any tears, any rips in the fabric. Also, if there's any mold or mildew on it, you may not want to use that, because if there's any mold or mildew, that means the fabric is probably not in the best shape, and maybe your flotation will even fall out of it.
Yeah, so when you're coming out to the lake, or it's the start of the summer season, you may have had these life jackets in storage in your boat, and you really do want to check them. If you happen to get to the campground and you check and you find that your life jacket is not sufficient, a strap is broke, buckle, it's rotted, that there are some options at the campground for you to actually borrow a life jacket for the day as well.
That's right. We have life jacket loaner stations at the 4 campgrounds, which are Amity Campground, Schaefer Herd Campground, Whitetail Ridge Campground, and Holiday Campground. So there's life jacket loaner stations there. They're mostly designed for children, but we do have some adult sizes as well. And there are also life jacket loaner stations at the 3 beach areas, which are Rocky Point, Yellow Jacket, and Earl Cook.
And we usually provide different sizes. There's infants, child, youth, adult, and extra large. Now, for myself, I'd consider myself a small adult, and this life jacket is considered an adult, but does it actually fit me properly?
No, this one's a little too big, so if you can raise it up this much, then it's too big for you. We have one over here that's probably the right size for you, if you want to slip that one off. And again, she didn't zip it, so that's a no-no.
Yeah, I didn't have it on properly. It wasn't fully attached. It's always good to have some help when putting on a life jacket sometimes. This one feels a little bit better. Already it feels like it's giving me a hug. Of course, these are adjustable as well, so I can tighten this up, make it sure that it's going to hold me pretty tight.
That's right, and you can see the fit here is a lot snugger. It's still a little loose. She could probably go down one more size, but it's a little better. You don't want a lot of room here in the shoulder area. Also, as we kind of mentioned before, you want to, at the end of the season, you want to make sure you're storing your life jackets in a cool, dry place that's got a little bit of ventilation so they don't mildew. Okay. We've got a couple other things to mention. This is one of our inflatable life jackets, believe it or not. So it looks a lot different than the one Rebecca's got on. But I
like that one a little bit better. It's not as bulky and heavy as this one could be. But that's not for everyone, though.
No, this is not designed for going out tubing or on a jet ski, but if you're a fisherman out in your boat, it's a good option for you. So what it has on the inside is a CO2 cartridge, and you can pull this. If you can see that, it says jerk to inflate. You can pull this and inflate it to a full-size vest and slip it on. A lot of people like them because they're not as hot, not as bulky, and after you wear it for a few minutes, you forget you even have it on.
And that's a buckle, so that would go around your waist.
That's right.
And that pack is supposed to go on your back or around the front?
You know, I think it can go either way.
It really can. You can put it on another part of your body. It's kind of designed for you to move around a little bit, but it's also, I believe some of those cartridges are designed to automatically inflate in some cases, depending on the life jacket. So it's important when you're out purchasing those, it could come in a vest form or it could come in the buckle form that either they will self-inflate upon being submerged in the water, or you can purchase the option of only inflating if you pull the cord.
That's right. We have one more thing that I think is a good item to have on your boat. This is a throw bag. This is something that you can use if one of your friends is in trouble and you need to throw something out to them. Just take the end, throw this portion out to them, let them reach out, grab the bag, and then you can pull them back into safety. So this is a good item to have on your boat as well.
It's one of many options that are available. I think most popularly on a lot of boats, there's a seat cushion that's actually designed with a handle that's for that same purpose.
Or a buoy ring.
Or a buoy ring in the same way.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really want to emphasize those inflatable life jackets like the belt that we just had. Unfortunately, you have to be 16 years old or older to actually wear that specific kind of life jacket. But if you're out on the lake, we do have some options for you at our gatehouses again, at all of our campgrounds, our Schaefer Herd, Amity, Holiday, and Whitetail Ridge, and our 3 beach locations at Earl Cook, Rocky Point, and Yellow Jacket. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
West Point Lake offers a variety of recreational opportunities. With 4 complete campgrounds and over 21 day-use parks, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers also operates 3 beach areas at Earl Cook, Rocky Point, and Yellow Jacket. For the 2017 season, the beaches will be open from May 20th through the 4th of September, with the gates for the beaches opening at 10 a.m. and will close at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time 7 days a week. When accessing one of our beach locations, please be sure to stop at the gatehouse to read all the posted signage and instructions. All vehicles entering the park must pay a $5 day use fee. If you do not already have one of the America the Beautiful passes or the U.S. Army Corps of Engineer annual pass, you must display the proper hang tag. There is a brown box located at the gatehouse to which you need to pull an envelope, tear it into 2 pieces, follow the instructions on either the box or the envelope, place 1 piece of the envelope on your dashboard so that the park rangers know that you have paid. Please submit payment into the envelope and deposit it back into the box. These passes you may hang on to for the duration of the day. If you need to leave the park temporarily, please do not remove your pass from your vehicle. Visitors coming into our recreation areas may encounter a variety of amenities, including picnic tables, reservable shelters with water and electricity, boat ramps, a courtesy dock, fishing piers, bathrooms, tennis courts, basketball courts, and of course, a large beach area. When out on the lake, it's important to remember your safety. Swim at your own risk. Our beach areas are designed for a safe swimming environment that include throw rings that are accessible for emergency use, a safe zone for swimming, including no boating in a surrounding area. If you have not brought a life jacket loaner stations are available at the gatehouse where you've entered the park. We invite all of our visitors to West Point Lake to enjoy themselves. Please be safe. For more information about reservable shelters at our many beach locations, please call our project management office at 706-645-2937. Welcome back. I wanted to thank my guests today, Susan Cromer, who talked about our water safety and life jackets, and Brent, again, I wanted to thank you for being on our show. Is there anything that, to recap about talking about jet skis that we maybe didn't talk about in the first segment of our show that is also very important for our viewers to know?
Well, one thing, there's hours of operation on a personal watercraft. You can't operate it from sunset to sunrise. In other words, once sunset gets there, you should have it off the water, and you can't operate it again until the next day at sunrise. That's just a safety thing. It's written in the law. Even if you have put lights on your personal watercraft, you can't operate them at night. There's some people who have done that in the past, and just because you have lights, if it fits the definition of a personal watercraft, then you can't do that. The other big problem that we have is what we call the 100-foot law, and you have to be down to idle speed anytime that you're not passing another vessel that, according to the rules of the road. You have to be down to idle speed if you're around another boat, that's say a boat that's out there fishing, or people that are out swimming, or somebody in the water swimming, or like here around the park, if you're within 100 foot of the shoreline, anywhere that there could be people, a restaurant, a pier, a marina, a boat dock, anywhere that they normally in normal processes there could be people, you have to be down to idle speed. And even if you're somewhere where the people normally aren't, like some of the islands out here, if somebody is on that island fishing or doing whatever, you have to slow down to idle speed if you get within 100 feet of them. The other problem that we have is people that are jumping wakes of other boats that are getting very close to the boat. You have to be at least 100 feet away if you're jumping a wake. And that's to avoid a jet ski going up into another boat, which happens from time to time. They'll get too close, they'll jump the wake, and they'll end up in the other boat.
That's unfortunate when that happens. But on our lake we do have our no wake buoys in various coves. But again, to remember that even as you're approaching shoreline, another vessel, another structure in the water, you need to decrease to idle speed. And 100 feet can be difficult to gauge when you're out on the water, but an average length of a jet ski is about 8 feet long or so. So it's good to average about 10 jet ski lengths away from anything that's in the water when you're out enjoying the full wake. So again, thank you very much for being on our show. We want to thank our viewers today for watching the West Point Lake Update. For more information, you may contact our project management office at 706-645-2937, or you can find our official Facebook page at facebook.com/westpointlake.usace.